We got to put the PG-13 on this again, don't we?
I was so excited when I saw that one.
I'm sure. Into episode number 16 of the Promo Upfront podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, the patron of the pumpkin spice latte, the one and only Dr. Kirby Hasseman. Kirby, how the heck are you this lovely, lovely October day?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. It's been, I think based on, we've talked about a lot of this stuff on the podcast. I went through a series where it was like we had a lot of OPA events, and then we had our online marketing event, which you were a speaker and you killed it, by the way.
I don't know about that, but thank you.
For sure. But you know how like when you get through the series of something like that and then you're like, oh my gosh, I can see everything sort of clearly again. That's where I'm at. So I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. Well, anytime you need someone who's yesterday's news on your speaking circuit, I'm your man. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. It's a beautiful day. Kind of the last little bits of summer are getting squeezed out as we get into the colder months, which I'm fine with. But you know what else makes me happy, Kirby, besides getting to those colder months?
What's that, Bill?
I knew you'd ask. Our good pals at commonsku. That's right. They allow you to connect your team, streamline your workflow from anywhere. We talk about how much they care about your business. We talk about how they can help you run every single aspect of your business, from ideation to invoicing and everything in between. Usually this is the part where I say, Kirby, you love commonsku, blah, blah, blah. And you say something. I'm not going to do that today. Today, I'm going to say, I think we've gone over it. And I thought we'd do a little twist in that commonsku just announced SKUCon, the virtual SKUCon, which is going to be held on January 7th.
Yeah, I think so.
Virtually. It's a Thursday. They've got speakers like Seth Godin, Jonathan Isaacson, some guy named Paul Bellantone. I've never heard of him. Tim Anders from ASI, and a slew of other people. Absolutely a bargain at $99 if you're a commonsku customer. If you get 2 or more people, it's $79 a person. What a great deal. And you can learn more about that at SKUCon.com. And I know you'll be there, Kirby. We are planning to be there as well.
Already signed up, my friend.
Excellent. And if you want to learn more about commonsku, the company behind SKUCon, because they're more than just content creators, and they do such a wonderful job at that. If you want to learn more about commonsku and the good work that they really, really do to help you elevate your distributor business, head over to commonsku.com. You're not going to be sorry you did. Thought I'd throw that in there, a little curveball, if you will.
I love it.
Always on the Promo Upfront podcast, Kirby, one of us has the upfront topic, always about the promotional products industry. Today, that's me. And so I'm going to go here before I get myself into trouble by saying something stupid. So I don't know if you saw this, Kirby, but the distributor sales report from ASI came out. Good. Well, that's the PPI one. You can talk about. Oh, well,
I didn't see the ASI.
Okay, see, we have 2 separate topics. So let's go. So they reported that sales or distributor sales dropped for the 3rd straight quarter. And I thought these numbers were interesting. The first quarter was 4.9%. So it was right in the beginning of the pandemic. So that's essentially March.
It's March, yeah.
Yeah. In April, May, and June, 44.4% drop from the same period previous year. And then in Q3, it dropped 24.8%. So still a big drop, but an improvement over those Q2 numbers. Do you have any comparable stats there on the PPAI one?
Yeah, actually it was,
it's very funny. We did not plan this out, by the way.
Yeah, no, not at all. So it was, there were, I think, similar kind of statistics, and it goes through, a lot of like, how did they do versus quarter 1, quarter 2 to quarter 3. Yep. That was actually one of the ones that jumped off at me. Was 45.7% of distributors saw a decrease in sales from quarter 2 of 2020 to quarter 3.
Right.
Like that doesn't, 46% of distributors saw a decrease from quarter 2 to quarter 3.
Wow.
Like that doesn't like that
Wow.
jumped off the page to
Yeah.
me because I've talked to several suppliers about this too. Cause I'm like, is that consistent with what you're seeing? If you would have told me that they saw that from quarter one to quarter two,
Yeah.
yes, of
Yeah,
course, actually higher.
Q2 to Q3, that's a very arresting number.
Yeah. And surprising because I think suppliers would
Yeah.
tell you that they're starting to see growth in the third quarter. So that was literally, I wanted to talk to you about that because I'm like, that blew me away. That can't be right.
I'd love to see who ASI spoke to in their survey and who PPAI spoke to, because it doesn't sound like they're the same folks at all.
Yeah, that blew me away. And by the way, I think these kind of studies, I'd say historically, Bill, I don't spend as much. Like you generally bring this topic up, right? Like in the history of our conversations,
right?
But because we're in this time now, I find a lot of value in ASI and PPAI doing this so that I can kind of get a sense of the industry. But I really do feel like we're seeing sort of two different kinds of experiences.
Well, the numbers don't lie, but you can make them represent whatever you want them to. I mean, that is kind of the truth here. I think what I find interesting is the fact that both, depending on the way you look at it, you can either take a very positive slant to this or a very negative one. And I generally think when you ask people, and we don't know exactly what the questions were and how they were asked, so that factors into it as well.
I do, just because I took the PPI one.
Well,
not the ASI though.
Yeah, but one, but not the other.
Right.
So what I find interesting is that I think most people, when they answer a survey like this, take the negative or contrarian view.
Okay.
So, we've talked about pessimist versus optimist versus realist on this podcast. I think with these type of things, people generally see more doom and gloom than they see anything else. Now, I could be wrong there, but I'm not. So, I mean, it's possible, but I know I could be wrong. I don't know. It's just very.
Well, what was funny to me though, Bill, is because this came out and PPI really hammered home, hey, take this. I was like, okay, if I'm going to take it, I'm going to actually look. So I pulled out, as opposed to how do I feel?
Yeah, you pull out a ledger. Most people are talking about how they feel.
Exactly. I think that's what it is. I actually looked at the numbers and I was pleasantly surprised. So for us, we ended up, I would have bet my office that we were down Q3 versus Q3. Like 2019, we would have been ahead of 20, right?
Yeah.
We were up in 20.
Yeah. Now,
now by $300.
Well, but still, you're up. And I think what you're hitting on here is most small business owners, especially in our industry, they don't like to look at the numbers. They'd rather go on their gut feeling and go by moxie and do those things. So it's very scary sometimes to look in the mirror and say, well, I think we're doing okay, so I'm sure we're doing okay.
Yeah.
So, I think that's interesting. What I found in the ASI conversation, and I loved this, they asked one word distributors used to describe Q3 of 2020. You want to take any guesses on any of them, or you want me to just share a couple? Either way.
Let me guess. Recovery.
I'm sure that was in there. I just picked the top 5. So that's not the top 5. Challenging, unpredictable, dismal, weak, and the number 1 was slow. So again, it kind of reinforces my thought. And actually, I did not put that together until we were talking. It reinforces my thought of that it's a negative. People are answering in more of a negative way. And then, you extrapolate that out and very correctly. People are really answering from a gut feeling perspective and not an actual numbers perspective.
And I think when you combine this, and I swear the sentence, this is not a political discussion, has been used in the last month's worth of podcasts for us. But what I would say is, I have said this, and I think you and I have been friends long enough that you'll know that this is true. I say this every 4 years, that I think that, when consumer confidence is a driver of the economy, some people will say 2/3 of the economy is built on consumer confidence. The pandemic has certainly not been good for consumer confidence.
No.
But I actually believe every 4 years, our consumer confidence takes a hit because the most powerful people on the planet, or about to be, are telling you how crappy it is. That's just that's part of what a campaign does. And I think that you combine the two and you're seeing it in this survey.
Maybe I'll push back a little bit. I think what in the political discussion, this is not a political discussion. Wall Street doesn't like uncertainty.
Yeah.
So right now, it's very uncertain whether President Trump will be reelected or Joe Biden will be elected. So that uncertain. Then there's uncertainty. Is there going to be another second stimulus package? Well, if there is, how big will it be, and how will it get to people? So with that type of uncertainty and volatility, that's generally what affects the markets. But your point is a very good one.
I'm not talking about the markets though.
But
I'm talking about individual, consumer
Hmm.
confidence, but also small business confidence.
I understand that, but I think the markets drive that. I think if the market's doing well, okay, I feel like things are going in the right direction. Generally,
Right.
I'm not saying Bill Petrie, I'm saying a lot of people.
Okay.
If Wall Street's doing well, then my 401k is doing well, then things must be on the right track. And if everything takes a dive, oh my gosh, let's burn the house down. So let me ask you this. So what's the one word you would use to describe of Q3 of 2020, which would be, what is it, June, July, and August, right? Sorry, July, August, September.
July, August, September.
One word.
Recovery is what comes back.
Okay. No, I think that's a fair one. I have a different word, but
yeah. Well, what's yours?
Opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's really good.
Yeah, never waste a good pandemic. I mean, Kelsey and I seized on that. We started a brand of 8 and going forward with that. Recovery is a good one. In every situation, there's good, bad, and a million other gray area feelings, right? It's not just black and white. And I'm actually writing a blog about that, but that's a couple weeks away. But I think if you want to find the positivity in a negative situation, you can. And we also all know people who find a cloud in every silver lining as well. So,
Yeah, no, but this is interesting to me because I started to allude to this, is I really do think you and I've had this discussion for years, that I felt like people were moving to two different types of distributorships. One was more online and price oriented. One was more service oriented.
Right.
But I think through this, we've seen two types of distributorships where it's like, okay, I'm gonna put my head in the sand, my pajamas on, and when everything is better, my phone will start ringing again. And man, there's another side that have been kind of grinding and still within reason going out. And I think you're seeing a massive divide on sales with those two.
Very much so. There are, in any group, there are doers and non-doers. Okay. The non-doers hope, the non-doers wish. They expect things to get better, and they expect people to fix things for them. And then there's people to say, screw it, I'm going to make it happen. Right. And that's, I think, what you're saying, just kind of underscore your point there. So that was my promo up front. Kirby, do you have a topic you'd like to discuss?
Yeah, I got a hot one.
Wonderful.
So, okay. Again, from the history of our discussions, I am not a fan of my distributor peers who go out on social media.
I know where we're going.
And I don't know that you do.
Okay.
That go out and eviscerate a supplier on the promotional products professionals page. I think I have you go back and check tape, right? I am pretty consistent with my,
you are
critique of people who do that.
Right.
I'm going to defend them for right now.
Okay.
Because I think we're living through a space where this pandemic and COVID has become an excuse for everything.
Oh, sure.
So here's what I would say. When I'm having a conversation with a supplier and they say, hey, stock's a real challenge because when this happened, we had to cut off this and cash flow. And you can make that discussion and I will understand it and hopefully with grace say, I get it. So you can blame the pandemic for that. But the pandemic didn't kill creativity. It didn't kill customer service. It didn't kill calling people back. And I believe that we have gotten to a space where it's like, hey, we're out of stock.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the discussion.
Okay. So I'm going to push back on you. But the pandemic did kill customer service and it did kill calling people back from the factor of a lot of suppliers have had to make and distributors and businesses across the world have had to make very difficult decisions to furlough employees, to terminate employees. So, sometimes I agree with you. The fundamental, but here's where I agree with you. I think you're seeing less customer service, less responsiveness. I believe that, right? I believe that is a factor of the pandemic. And I usually, and generally, I don't think the pandemic has shifted anybody's views on customer service other than we don't have enough resources to dedicate to it that we may have before. Is it an excuse sometimes? I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Is it a reality a lot of the times? Yeah, I'm sure it is. And so just like, I guess I would really push back there because I see so many suppliers taking it in the shorts. And again, we never know the whole story. It's always someone's slanted view of the truth. And then,
and here's what I'd say.
yeah,
Simple responses like, hey, we're out of stock of this item. Here is another one that might be comparable. That is a very simple thing to do, and it's not happening at all.
I would agree. And here's where I'll defend you.
Yeah.
I think what's happened, I don't think anybody else, Company X is a supplier, let's just say.
Yeah. And you notice I'm not naming any names. This isn't I'm not eviscerating anybody.
Let's say Company X had to eliminate 40% of their customer service people so that they could continue to function, continue to thrive, whatever they need to do. There's a lot of companies that had to make very difficult decisions.
Totally get it.
Where what you're seeing is failing to recreate or create a new plan in how to effectively serve the client base with a reduced workforce. So generally, unfortunately, I think what you're seeing is the answer has been, and I've actually have friends who've had this happen out of the industry and a couple in the industry of, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to ask you to take a pay cut, and also you're doing twice the work you used to do.
Absolutely.
And so I think you're seeing a lot of that. So without a plan of, okay, let's redistribute this, let's make sure you're focused on specific accounts. What you're seeing is just hey, we're just gonna have to do more with less, guys, and we count on you to do it. And that's not a plan. That's a wish. That's a hope.
Sure.
And I think that's what you're experiencing. So I do think it's pandemic related. And cause. Because I think what happens is things get lost in the shuffle. Sure. And things that used to take 12 hours now take 72, if at all.
Yeah. Well, I think the simple pieces of it are the ones that you say, look, I get it. We got an order in house. You're telling me it's out of stock. That's totally fine. I actually understand and I'm empathetic with it. The first part of that sentence didn't piss me off. The second part where it takes me 4 emails to say, do you have a comparable size? Because I'm getting what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is take my freaking business elsewhere.
Well,
and so there is a point at which, because my customer placed an order.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I would defend you on that.
Yeah.
I would defend you on that. But again, it's one of those things we don't ever know what's going on at a place. Right.
Yeah,
but so it just, all it is, I would just file all this under, everything is very, very frustrating right now. And you as a distributor who experienced that type of service, and you're not the one to go on Promotional Products Facebook page and scream about it, because that solves nothing.
Right.
Knowing you, if you felt compelled to do so, you would have called someone in management, had a discussion, and either had it resolved or not. And then from that point, you'll make a decision going forward. Will I use this supplier again? That's the natural order of things. That's the law of the jungle, right? Because there are other choices generally in our industry. So, I guess the moral of the story is, suppliers and distributors, you're doing more with less. Make sure you have a plan to cover your customer service, to make sure that they're communicating effectively and set new expectations. Because knowing you can deal with. You're like, I can't wait to tell Bill he's wrong.
It's fine.
Knowing you, if someone said, we're going to get back to every email request within 24 hours due to limited human capital, that would be fine. That's what I'm saying is if you don't have a plan like that and you haven't communicated that to your customers, this is the type of frustration you're going to get, and justifiably so, from Kirby.
Well, and I think it's just one of those moments where if you know how I feel. I'm not interested in seeing that on social media. I think it's unfair. I think it's unbalanced, all that sort of thing. But there is a point when you are trying to get an answer over and over again and you don't.
Yeah.
Like, you're setting people up to blow up. And
you are.
And so I would say that, and again, people who are trying to buy from you, because you hear buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. Sales are down in quarter 2 and quarter 3. We're trying to buy from you, but don't buy that.
Well, that's the thing.
That's tough.
You're trying to give supplier X money and they're making it hard for you to do so.
Yeah.
I've said that a million times. And so I hear what you're saying. To me, just like everything else in the world, 90% of the world comes down to communication.
Yeah.
If you
Agreed.
just communicate, things generally go better. So Kirby, that was a great one. Speaking of great things, Kirby, we love promotional products.
We do.
Do you have a promotional product you'd like to share with us right now? Like
I
show
do.
and tell?
I do.
So you have a promotional product of the week, maybe.
I do. And here's what I'd say. It's not a specific product, but it's a category since most of our audience is a supplier or a distributor. So one of the things that I had never sold in the past, but have recently because our man Josh Robbins has done a great job of kind of telling me how to do this is badges, magnetic badges. I've got several different samples. Our buddy Josh, and there's several suppliers in the industry who do it, but Josh Robbins does this, do specs samples for you. And what it becomes is a program because especially those in retail that they have turnover, it becomes a piece that gets reordered over and over and over again. It's a place that I never played and I started to in the last year and it's become very lucrative for me.
Well, and it's kind of a set it and forget it. It's like
100%.
It's like a rotisserie chicken. You just kind of turn it on and walk away and money starts rolling in. So that's a great product of the week. Kirby, do you have another topic or was that your topic or was that mine? That was your topic.
That was mine.
I've got a topic for you, Kirby. Hormel Foods is giving away bacon-scented face masks, Kirby.
I'm sorry, that's the first I've heard of that. Okay.
They're calling it breathable bacon. And all you need to do is head over to www.breathablebacon.com and you can enter a drawing to get your own face mask. Now you better do that quick. It ends on the 28th, which is a week from today, which is Wednesday. So what it is, it's a 2-ply multi-fiber cloth mask to, quote, help the delicious smell of bacon be always wrapped around your nose and your mouth. When the brand manager was asked about it, Kirby, and he was quoted as saying, "We're continually focused on innovation, from new products to marketing and distribution, all in an effort to deliver new and exciting ways to experience and enjoy Black Label bacon."
Nice.
There's more. In 2020, that means connecting everyone's favorite bacon scent to the year's IT category. And in doing so, bring back Black Label bacon closer to our fans. So I'm just sharing this because it is innovative. It's funny.
That's great.
I want to know, what flavors of mask would you like to have?
Okay.
I've made a list. If you'd like me to go,
I have a quick question.
You can ask any question you want.
Are they selling it or giving it away?
They're giving it away. So you enter a drawing for it. So you go to breathablebacon.com and you enter just your name. They're grabbing data. It's what everybody's doing. So you put it's awesome. It's a fantastic, it's a very bold move. So you put your name, email address in there and you're entered in a drawing. I don't know how many they're giving away, but I did enter because I would like just to see how this works.
I think it's really good. So just to answer your question really quickly, I'll probably come up with more, but right off the top of my head, coffee is but again, that for coffee drinkers.
No, it's for you. I'm talking about for you. What you personally want to see, not the audience. What does Kirby want?
Yeah, I would say coffee. And I'm actually not a big sweet eater, but I think chocolate would be one that would go over. So those are the two that beer wouldn't, because it's just like, that's weird. And maybe an IPA. But anyway, those would be my two.
I came up with several.
Sweaty socks.
Chocolate chip cookie.
Okay.
Maybe a snickerdoodle.
Okay.
Brisket.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Burning wood. Love the smell of a campfire.
Oh, cut grass.
Might be a little much in the middle of the day, but fresh cut grass.
Yeah, that's good.
Cinnamon vanilla, old fashioned. Coconut, and my personal favorite, fresh baked bread.
That's really good.
I like the smell of bread all damn COVID day long, Kirby.
Yeah, I actually think bread may be the best one.
I do too.
Yeah,
all right.
That's a really good one.
Do you have one more topic for us before we go to the party in the back in the mullet of all podcasts?
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw this, but Jeff Jacobs put out an article today, and it was on Promo Corner. He was banned from Twitter. Did you see this?
I did.
And so I read the article, and essentially, I thought his take was very interesting. He talked about, and for those who don't know, Jeff Jacobs was manager of QCA for quite some time, and he has a real legitimate following on Twitter. I think it's like
about
90,000.
90,000.
Yeah, that's a real number.
I'm gonna miss those retweets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a supporter of the podcast too. But he kind of talked about, look, he spent the time to build that audience, and for and he has not been able to get unbanned, I guess. Yeah. And he's like, it's been kind of freeing.
Yeah.
And so, number one, I just want to get your take on sort of that. And then the follow-up question is going to be, which platform that you use regularly would you be most okay with losing?
All of them. So I'll call myself out here. I go through periods and phases where I will post stupid stuff and kind of want some weird validation that way.
I think everybody does.
But I'd like not to admit that, but I'm going to. And I've really, and I don't know if people have noticed, but over the last few weeks, I've really scaled back. It's almost all just business stuff that I'm posting. And if I didn't have to do that, I think I would chuck it all. I get very little joy out of social media. It generally tends to raise my blood pressure more than inform me, and more than delight me, more than give me any sort of joy. Right. So you asked the question, I'll answer it the way you asked. If it was one, it'd be Facebook. It's one of those things I find, it's a necessary evil for me.
Yeah.
I say this often. I hate Facebook, and I don't know if I hate Facebook more or hate the fact that I'm good at it, because I do know how to put things where they're supposed to be and get attention. I wish I was better about that, and I'm trying very hard to not check it all the time and not see those things. But again, I can be part of the masses too.
Yeah, no,
what about you?
So this one's easy for me because it's weird. Instagram is the one that speaks to me the least.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram because I'm supposed to be on Instagram. And and I think Facebook goes in cycles for me.
Yeah. And it goes in cycles for me. So you're asking me a very down cycle for me on Facebook.
100%. And I've hid and snoozed and blocked more people in the last month than I think I ever have in my life. I'm really hopeful. I know COVID's not going to go away after the election, but I sure hope that Facebook gets a little less divisive.
Well, and I will tell you, of all the social media platforms, Instagram's the one that gives me the most joy.
Yeah.
Because it's generally,
and I think most people are like you. I think that's right.
It's pictures of people with, their dogs or out in nature or with their family or having a great meal. That's the one that speaks to me right now.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
But again, right now, if I didn't have to be on social, I'm not sure I would.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, Kirby. We are now at the time of this soon-to-be award-winning podcast that is called The Party in the Back, which means you get the dime, you get the dance floor. You're going to play a little game with me. Maybe it's a new game. Maybe it's an old, trusty veteran. I don't know. But Kirby, I have no notes. I'm putting my ink pen down, and you're going to let me know what we're talking about.
All right. So I think you historically have done so much better on these games than I have that I was a little embarrassed. So I'm trying to be a little bit more creative this week. So this is a nickname game, and you need to tell me if this is a nickname of a baseball player or a blues artist.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay. I figure you'll be good at this. So
I don't know about that. We'll find out.
We'll start
with a
one.
Baseball player or a blues musician?
Yes, blues musician. Yeah. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
The Iron Horse.
Oh, that'd be Lou Gehrig. That'd be a baseball player.
You always give me an easy one to start with, okay? So baseball player is absolutely correct.
Okay.
Blind Joe Reynolds. Is he a baseball or blues?
Most of the blues players are more blind dog, not blind man. I'm going to go baseball player, Kirby.
It was a blues musician, actually.
Damn it.
The Georgia Peach.
Oh, that'd be Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb, correct. That's a baseball player. Johnny Big Moose Walker.
Oh, that's got to be a blues musician.
Correct. Very well. Mudcat.
A blues musician all day, every day.
Yeah, Jim Mudcat Grant is a baseball player.
Damn it.
Papa Chubby.
Now that we're all uncomfortable on the podcast, I am excited to see you, but I did not Papa Chubby. I'm going to go Papa Chubby. I'm going to go with blues musician.
Correct.
All right.
Ted
We got to put the PG-13 on this again, don't we?
I was so excited when I saw that one.
I'm sure.
Ted Double Duty Radcliffe.
Sounds like one of the names I would have given you a few weeks ago with your game of adult film star or Dallas Cowboys player. What was his name again?
Ted Double Duty Radcliffe.
Oh, that's a baseball player.
Baseball player, correct. Pine Top Perkins.
Pine Top Perkins. I'm going to go blues player, although my gut tells me baseball. I'm going to stick with blues.
That was a trick question. You got it right. It was blues. Very well done. Jelly Roll Morton.
Oh, a blues player.
Okay. Very good. And final one, Hound Dog Taylor.
Oh, Hound Dog Taylor, great baseball player for I have no idea. Baseball player?
I'm going blues on that one, but you did great, man.
Well, you do the best you can and you let the chips fall where they may, but you know who does the best they can and they don't leave anything to chance, Kirby?
Who's that, Bill?
Yeah, good pals over at Common SKU. That's right. They've got that platform going to connect your team, streamline your workflow, let you work from anywhere because where is all the data based, Kirby?
In the cloud.
That's correct. So you can work from anywhere. You can work from whatever you may be doing as long as you have internet access. And it's from every aspect of running your distributor business. They have the tools that enable you to stay connected to your clients, stand apart from the competition, and close deals to dramatically grow your sales. So head over to commonsku.com. You're not going to be sorry you did. Also check out SKUcon.com for an amazing, what will absolutely prove to be an amazing virtual event coming up here on January 7th of 2021. Kirby, as always, thank you for having the courage to do this podcast with me, and I bid you a fond adieu.
Papa Chubby.
That's right. From